Star Trek Picard Season 3 was, well, incredible. I am a little shocked, but also happy.
Oh, wow.
Pop Tot, what did you think of Season 3 of Star Trek Picard?
Well, I actually rather enjoyed it. I mean, it was a great season.
God damn it.
But there's a part of me that's just angst-ridden with the fact that we had those two turds of a season before this.
An unmitigated disaster.
This is probably what it should have been to begin with. It's just a 10-part last ditch for the Next Generation crew. I enjoyed it. There was a lot of aspects about it that it just, was emotional. The music was awesome. We got really good acting from the old crew. It was a good season, great season, but there are still like head scratchers for me. There's still things that I think that are,
right,
somewhat puzzling to me, I guess, that's kind of left on the field. But
it sucks that you have to talk about Season 1 and Season 2 before talking about Season 3. Right. And I'll start by saying, I know there's people that enjoy it, and I will say this to my grave: please do not let any criticism from anybody cement the way you see things. It's just a perspective. If you don't agree with it, don't hate the person. If you agree with it, that should not be it. I, as well as Pop Tot, were not big fans of Season 1 and Season 2. You and I actually watched Season 1 together. And I remember you and I were so freaking excited for Season 1. Like, it was like, holy shit, Picard is back.
Jean-Luc Picard is back.
Holy shit, these are the stories that we want. We want to see an aged Picard and how he had changed. And then it devolved into Marvel end of the world catastrophes. It was just
an unmitigated disaster.
It wasn't even really about Picard anymore. It was weird.
No.
And then Season 2 started promising. The first 2 episodes felt decent. And then it just went so far off the rails. And it really broke my heart. It really did. And I actually got to the point where I'm like, I almost see Star Trek a little different. And
What's up?
I think for both of us, it kind of changed with Strange New Worlds. We both enjoy Strange New Worlds a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
And Season 3, like you said, was what Picard should have always been.
Picard Season 3, there was a little hope for all of us because they were bringing back, at the time, we weren't sure how much the Next Generation crew, but they were all coming back and they were going to make this a send-off. So there's a lot of hope going into it already. Picard Season 3 was the Star Trek that you and I watched together as you were growing up.
Yeah.
It was the Next Generation. There's new effects and new relationships and all that stuff, but it was the crew, and it just felt very much like a 10-part Next Generation movie.
Yeah, the movie we should have always had. And I never went into Picard. I never went into the series anyways thinking it was going to be a deep rooted science fiction show like it was. I really wanted to see the expansion in development of Jean-Luc Picard, and Season 3 was that.
Then if you won't leave, I'll stay with you.
Plus all these characters, and it made me so happy to see Riker develop into a brightly so flawed character, and then see Beverly Crusher actually have something to do. And the movies, really, it was just so Picard and Data centered. There was not any balance, and thanks to all the writers, we get that balance again that felt like the Next Generation.
I can't say that Beverly Crusher was like my least favorite character, but she never really had a lot to do in regards to like the rest of the crew. And this one, she felt like she was a badass. And and I actually enjoyed her character. And bravo to Gates McFadden, she did a really good job. Geordi had his daughters, and those were more important than science in his career.
They're not. You're family.
Yes, they are. You taught me that.
And Data was finally understanding that the being human was a more arduous journey than getting to be human. And then Worf was this just seasoned warrior, and he was looking to fix himself. And like you said with Riker actually had dimension.
And yet there's nothing that proved to be that there is anything after.
There was just so much going on. And then there's introductions of new characters, two of which I'll name right off the bat that I truly love, and that's Captain Shaw and Jack Crusher. I think there are two wonderfully added characters. And of course, as we know now, Shaw bites it towards the end. But the scene between 7 of 9 and Tuvok, where you get to see his hollow image of her performance review, that was still groundbreaking to me. Like, awesome acting on his part, because he was conveying sort of what a broken character he was, but at the same time how he had these issues with Seven, but how those issues are going to what needs to happen in the modern day Starfleet. So it was really great.
They dug their grave, they took you with them. Hold your position, LaForge.
The whole season was always homaging not only the Next Generation, but the original series. And I know a lot of people, myself included, were really annoyed that they went back with the Borg. But to me, the primary villains throughout the original series and the original series movies was the Klingons. And it was fitting that in Undiscovered Country, the villains pseudo was the Klingons, or presumed villains, and they became the center point because of the Cold War and all that. And so it was fitting that Picard had to go against his arch nemesis, but this time infecting his own son. And I thought that was so well done. And then to add in the element of Shaw's distrust and all that came with it, and the damage and severe trauma he got from that, it was just so well done and encapsulated. I just wish the Borg, who were handled well, they felt creepy, they felt scary. I almost wish they were in it a little bit more, and I don't know.
See, that's probably the biggest flaw for this season for me. They created this great evil character, Vadic, and she's a changeling. They bring the changelings back, and they're evolved. And then we find out that the Borg somehow hired these changelings, these radical changelings, to be their foot soldiers, but they really don't vet that. They don't shake that out on how that came about. And I almost would have preferred like a merging of the two species. Like there's a changeling, like Section 31 had managed to put Borg nanobites in the changelings and made them somewhat Borg connected by the Borg and the Great Link, and that way you had an understanding. But there was just like they had this massive, awesome idea to finally defeat the Starfleet. And then
the idea was great. It was a really
the idea was great.
Idea. I thought Picard season 3, and this is sort of a deep cut off topic, it reminded me a lot of The Dark Knight Rises. And The Dark Knight Rises, I use a really shitty analogy. It's like if you take, how in school you have all the pencils in the rubber band, and, like you bundle them up to keep them together, and you keep just stuffing pencils in there. And eventually the rubber band's just like, this shit's going to break. And The Dark Knight Rises is like that, where you got 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. Bruce Wayne somehow gets into Gotham, but Gotham shut down. Gotham is being controlled by Bane and his 12 goons, but the military's scared of him, and you're like, what? But there's all these emotional beats that work so well, that to me, the Bane Batman fight is the greatest superhero fight, bar none. It's so emotional. It's brutal to watch. And it has that huge uplifting payoff when he climbs off the pit. And to me, Picard season 3 is that, where, that doesn't really make sense. That doesn't really make sense either. But this made me so damn emotional. Well, this made me so damn emotional that I didn't really give a shit. Seeing the Enterprise once again, seeing the crew walk on the bridge of the Enterprise and it light up, and I'm just like, holy crap, they did it.
I gotta tell you, Jerry Ryan is ageless. She's awesome. You know, if you go back to the first episodes that she was in Voyager, as she was trying to find her humanity again, to this point now, and it's like, you know, bravo to Jerry Ryan. And she's really grown into this character. She's made the character her own.
Yeah.
I really am super happy for Jerry Ryan that this could possibly be a new series for her.
And she deserves it.
Sir, you could be the hero who saved heroes.
She's probably easily top 3 or 4 favorite things about this season. And really, the first 2 seasons of Picard, she was the one thing that I kind of stuck to. It was like her character was always the most dynamic in every scene.
In lurking in the shadows of a untrusting Shaw who went about his trauma in all the wrong ways. And even though he did respect her, he didn't do it in the right way, regardless of what the end game was. He was shitty to her and he shouldn't have been. But to watch her go past that and continue to grow and to eventually become captain after being this Borg drone was so incredible. And she did such a great job. And like you said, I really struggled through season 1 and season 2, and I really thought Jerry Ryan was that duct tape that held together a really shitty show.
You owe me a ship, Picard.
They were really selling that handoff from the last generation to the new generation.
Far better than what even like Star Trek generations did. You know, they basically made a couple calls and, you know, Shatner was riding his horse. It was like, yeah, I guess. And Chekhov was like, I'm bored, so I'll come in. And I am really sad it's over. And
so think about it from our perspective, and our listeners out there, is that we've had to watch each episode at least twice, sometimes 3 times. And there wasn't, and usually when you're reviewing, the second time you're skimming through, you're like, I can skim through this. But I found myself all 10 episodes rewatching the entire episode and having just as much fun or finding things that I didn't see before. Yeah, and that's a rarity for a season.
Part of me was a little upset it took so long for them to get back together, but I think it works so well. And that payoff works so well to have them all on the bridge together again. And if it worked more like a quest adventure, like Skyrim, where, hey, go here. Okay, well, we have Worf. Let's go stop by this planet to get Geordi. It wouldn't have been the same as them all walking together. And it works.
It wasn't exactly dune buggies in the sand searching for B4.
Jesus, no. And I know at one point I did praise Nemesis, and there's parts of Nemesis I do love, but it just ultimately ended so awful, and the whole dune buggy thing, and yikes. Now I'm like, maybe besides First Contact, they didn't happen.
An unmitigated disaster.
I don't know. That's so like shitty to say.
Well, I mean, Insurrection was great in the fact that you had plastic surgery, bridge couches, and hookers. So, I mean, you can't go wrong there.
Everybody in the entire movie wearing brown and beige. Everybody wearing brown and beige.
An unmitigated disaster.
I just can't believe it's over, and I'm so excited for what is to come. And overall, for one last time for Star Trek Picard, what would you rate season 3?
I would give it an A. I mean, it's a solid A. I was very, very thrilled with it. It, like you said, it had its minor flaws, and there was some pieces that felt important at the beginning of the season that didn't connect at the end. But overall, the Next Generation crew had everything to do. Rafi's character was a little more important.
Yeah.
And Jack Crusher, a new character. I thought he would be annoying as shit, but he was actually. I really liked his character. Yeah, I really liked his character. So I would give it an A overall.
Yeah, I am hell's frozen over. I give it an A as well. I was blown away. I haven't felt that excited to watch a show. I haven't felt that excited towards media in so long. I'm so burnt out with movies and TV shows. Nothing feels exciting or important or something like I can't miss it. I have to watch this. Picard brought that back, almost that little kid, you know, with you again, watching TNG. It was just so exciting. I'm just so happy that they were able to get that across.
So let's make a promise to those listening that when and if they make that announcement, we'll jump back on here and give our thoughts and our wants and hopes for Legacy.
I want to thank everybody for supporting us and listening to all of our stuff and sharing some wonderful comments. And I've absolutely enjoyed conversing with people and talking about Star Trek. Even if we don't agree, that is completely fine. Right. And that's the way it should be. And I'm just so happy again to share that with people. Thank you guys for one last time for Picard. Maybe you guys will see us on a video sometime soon.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
But we'll see you guys. Bye, Tots.